Hello, friends. Hello, everyone who have joined till now. Please give us a few more minutes and we'll start. If you all can hear me fine, please give me a thumbs up on in the comments. Thank you.
Hi, boss. Uh, Thanks, but you are on mute, I guess. Uh, oh,
Oh,
that's fine.
everyone. So let's begin today's talk. As most of you must be knowing that PHP 8 has been released just yesterday. And to help us understand better what's PHP 8 and what new features brings in, we have Kapil Sharma with us today, and he'll be telling all the latest and greatest that PHP 8 has to offer. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the PHP core team to spend countless hours and days to work on PHP and make it better. We'll be forever grateful for the work they have put in PHP. As you all know, PHP is one of the most popular programming languages in the world, and it powers around 80% of the websites in the world. So, and being Laravel developers, it is very important for each and every Laravel developer to understand the core PHP, the underlying programming language that is PHP. So I'll hand over the stage to Kapil now, and he'll start his talk on Laravel on PHP 8. All yours, Kapil. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Abbas. And very warm welcome to everyone. I'm super excited with PHP 8. Let me share my screen. We can start. Just give me a moment. My screen is visible to everyone. Warm welcome to everyone. Little introduction about me. I'm Kapil Sharma. I'm working as a technical architect uh, at Cactus Global. I'm working in web application development for around 15 years now. On my weekends, on my personal time, I'm basically an open source developer and maybe speakers in meetups. If you have any questions, you want to contact me, you can connect with me on Twitter. And all my slides of this and previous meetup are there on speakerdeck.com/Kapil Sharma, and maybe some of the videos as well. So before we move ahead, let's see what we can expect in this meetup. So I was just making my notes, so I have converted those notes into ebook. The note that I made while going through new features of PHP 8. So that ebook can be downloaded. This is the ebook. So the link is given there. You might download, and maybe I will share the link in chat so that it will be easier for others, for everyone. Here's the link. So you can download that PDF book from there as well. And at the end, we'll also refer out to PHP Storm license. That is 1 year subscription. So who are interested in that? I mostly do offline meetups, so I'm habitual of listening the noise. But maybe you can write into the comments who want PHP Storm license. Wow, awesome. So there are more than 2 people, but we have only 2 license available. So maybe we'll have a small quiz at the end, and we'll discuss more about it at the end. But yes, one important thing, all of those questions will be from PHP 8. So maybe next 30 to 40 minutes, concentrate, and hopefully you will be able to answer the questions and win the license. Moving ahead, getting PHP 8. So PHP 8 was released yesterday. So now you can go and download. No issue. But in case you're working on a project which is not yet ready to move to PHP 8, or how I learn about PHP 8. So we can have the official Docker images. So if someone want that, if you want to see those Docker images, so we can simply go to docker.com, and there we might search PHP, not Docker, sorry, Docker Hub. So we can go there and search PHP, and maybe the first result, you might see the official image. So that is the official image of PHP. You might go there, and all the images of PHP, they are there in tags. So you can call it the versions, and there we can search 8.0, and you will find a lot of PHP 8 images about different things like Buffer, JetTS, FPM, Alpine Linux. What we are actually interested in, maybe a plain PHP image. So this one. They have not yet released of 8.0 image on Docker Hub. On Docker Hub, it is still PHP 8.0 release candidate 5. So now we want to, if we want to get that image of a thing, there's a simple command, docker run. I'm not going into the details of Docker. That's not Docker session. But quickly, if you have Docker installed, this command, docker run -it, then -v says which of the local directories we want to share in the Docker image, Docker container. And this is important, PHP 8.0.0 RC5. So you can simply go and check there which is the latest image. Simply download that, and at the end, bin bash. So it basically says which command we want to run, and we want to run interactive PHP. So this is how you can get PHP 8 if you are not yet ready to install PHP 8. So now, what are the major features introduced in PHP 8? Now, A little disclaimer, PHP 8 is a major release. Every feature is a major feature. So by major feature, I actually mean the features that will we as a developer will be using very frequently. So that's my definition of major. So let's get started. The first thing, and again, now PHP 8 this time has a very good release documentation. You can also find all the documentation there. So the first most important feature that I want to discuss is union types. So PHP is basically a dynamically typed language. We have a lot of pages, so I will be going very quickly. If someone have any questions, just put it in the comments, and maybe as soon as I see the comment, maybe I will try to answer that. So we all know PHP is a dynamically typed language. What we mean by that? We can take a variable, assign any value to that. Maybe, as in this example, I assign null. But in the very next line, we assign an integer, and that is perfectly fine in PHP. And in the very next line, we have multiplied it with 1.4, so it will become float. And then I say, okay, I want to push it further. I have completely changed the data type. So I assigned a string, and that is also perfectly fine. So this is how dynamically typed language works. Now, there are pros and cons of both. And PHP is a dynamic type language. But yes, to solve some cons, PHP first introduced type hinting. So what we could do, we could define the type of variable in method call. So for example, here, I've defined a variable in type, and in the constructor, we defined it should be an integer. So whenever we are calling that method, calling that constructor, we can only pass integer. If we pass anything other than integer, PHP throw an error that you can only pass integer there, but we still have a problem. Somehow I keep that variable public. Now that's a debatable question whether we should have a public variable in the class, but I leave it to you. So we kept it public, and from outside we can still assign another value. So here we assign 2.2, which is a float, and PHP is perfectly fine with that, no issue. So to solve this problem, in PHP 7.4, type property was introduced. So this is exactly the same program. I have just added the type of the property. So that was basically possible in PHP 7.4. Now in PHP 8, before we go to PHP 8, PHP do not support method overloading. There are few languages like C, C++, Java. They support method overloading. PHP do not. So let's assume a case where I want to define a method, say for example add, and I want the facility that I could either pass integer or float to them. So if method overloading is supported, we can define two methods with different type of parameters. Once with integer, another time with float. But you can see the red line that is taken from an editor, which is saying method overloading is not allowed in PHP. You cannot define add again. So to solve this problem in PHP 8, till PHP 7, what was the workaround? We have to define a second method float, and when we want to work with integer, we have to typecast it at the end. So to solve this problem in PHP 8, PHP 8 introduced union types. So now you can assign multiple types. So in this example, for example, I said it could be either integer or float. So this is the union type. We can have it in the parameter list as well as in the return type. Next feature is null safe operator. Again, going into details. Before going into the details, let's see a bit of the history. So ternary operator. that are there in PHP since very long. So I hope you all know. Syntax expression 1, question mark expression 2, colon expression 3. And it is equivalent to if expression 1 is true, return expression, sorry, if expression 1 is correct, return expression 2, otherwise return expression 3. There's also a shortcut where we skip expression 2 or variable 2. So if variable 1 returns true, return variable 1, otherwise return variable 2. There was a small problem. Then in PHP 7, I forget the minor version, null collision operator was introduced. So it's double question mark. So there are quite a few people who are confused with that. So what it say is that. Here we are simply checking the variable for the truth, but in null collision operator, we are checking it with is that. So if in this example, if get user is that, return get user, otherwise return nobody. And we can chain it as well. So I want to check whether user is sat in get property or post property. If sat in get property, return it. If no, sat in post property, return that, otherwise return nobody. So we can also change the null collision operator. If you want to quickly check the difference, this is the table taken from PHP documentation, PHP manual. So the last two columns, you can say what is the difference between isStat and Boolean. So if I have an empty variable, a variable having empty string, so if we check it with if, it will return false, but isStat will return true. So that will also be the difference between ternary operator or null collision operator. There are quite a few other differences as well, like for an empty array, those are different. Then for the false value, they are different. So this could be a handy tool in many situations. So now, okay, now what PHP 8 do? The problem with there's one problem with null collision operator. So let's look at that is code. Can we do like that with null collision operator? Maybe not, because null collision operator works only on the variables, right? And if it is true, it will simply return the first value. It will not further calculate it. Now PHP 8 has introduced null safe operator, which is question mark hyphen greater than sign. So we can write this whole example like that. So what is we are doing? It's a simple example. Let's assume a session. So if session is null, country will remain null. If session is there, we'll get the user from the session. If user is null, exit. Then check whether address property is there in user. If it is not, address is also not null, then fetch out the country from session, from the address. So this whole code with null safe operator can be written in one single line like that. So that was the feature. Then there are named arguments. I am going a little faster because there are quite a few things to be discussed and we are short on time. I'm trying to wrap up it in 40 minutes. Next thing, we have named arguments. So maybe this code you must have all seen. We are defining a function with some variables with type hinting. Now in PHP 8, by PHP 7, we just need to pass the parameters in the same order with comma separated value. In PHP 8, we can change the order of those parameters. So in the first example, it is same name, age, occupation in the same order. But check the second example. Here we change the order. And in PHP 8, it will work perfectly fine. So that is named operator. It will be especially helpful when we have more than one optional argument. So for example, we have two optional arguments and I want to pass only second argument, not the first one. So that named argument will be handy. Next one is attributes. So attributes also, before that, let's discuss what the metadata is. So metadata, as name suggests, it's the data about data. One simple example, we have a function get user. Now, if I call that function with a string value, will it succeed? It will fail. But my ID will not show it. So we have something called doc block where we can define. Here I defined that parameter user ID should be an integer. So our ID will read that, and as soon as I call get user with non-integer parameter, it will show a small red line, a warning. You're calling the function with say string and integer is expected. So developer will know it right at the time of development. This could also be useful in generating the documentations. So these are the things that do not have any value in our PHP code, but that's a metadata that documentation generator or our ID might read. But it is not something which is implemented within the PHP. For PHP interpreter, it is just a command which will be completely ignored. So there are a few languages which support attribute or maybe known as annotations. So this is the example of attributes. So if someone is working with Java or C#, the same feature is known as annotations there. So now here we can define the attributes like that. We can define the attribute before the class, before the constants, before variables, before the method call, in the parameter list, or even when we are creating new objects, at that time we define it in the normal functions or inline functions, anonymous functions. So these are few places where we can now define the attributes. How it will be useful? Well, not immediately. Sooner or later, our IDs and frameworks will start supporting it. Symfony already written a blog that they will be defining routes through attributes. Maybe it will come to another frameworks like Laravel and others pretty soon. And at least ID is going to support that. So let's check a very quick example how those attributes might help. So practical use. Now there are two types of attributes: global attributes and custom attributes. So custom attribute is something that we create. This is the example of custom attribute. So we need to create an attribute class. That class is nothing, just some instance variable and a constructor. The important thing here is one attribute. So slash attribute, it's a global attribute. We use that to define this class is basically an attribute. Now, how will we use that attribute? We have defined test attribute. So now, obviously, we need to include that class. And now, while defining any class, we can define the test attribute there, and that is expecting one parameter. So we can pass that parameter, some metadata about test class. So this is how we practically can use it. As a developer, we might not need it, but how maybe IDs will access that, maybe documentation generator will extract that. So there's a very quick example. A reflection class is there. So we'll use the reflection class to generate test class. And from that, we'll call the get attributes method. Now, attributes, there could be more than one attribute. So it will return an array. In our example, we have just one attribute. So we had taken this first element, and on that we are calling new instance and test arguments. The output of this program is nothing but whatever metadata we pass there. So this is how attributes will be used. As a developer, we might not be using it a lot, but it's good to know because very soon enough, our frameworks and IDs will start using that. Now, another thing is constructor property promotion. So a pretty simple example. I have defined a class, say point. We could have three coordinates, say x, y, and z, And when initializing that class, we are passing those coordinates in the constructor and assigning it to the variable. Pretty simple code, but there are a lot of things to be typed. Especially look at the variables. We have defined it first as a class variable, instance variable, then in the parameter list, and then twice in the constructor body. So we have to use it exactly 4 times. So JavaScript is supporting it since some time. Now PHP also support that. So same class. Now we can check there is no instance variable. But what we do while defining the parameters, we have provided public, private, or uh, protected, the access specifier with the parameter list. And after that, we need not even to assign them. So now X, Y, Z are exactly same like that. Not public, it will be public, protected, private. And then we defined a parameter. And now we are calling it. And this time I am calling it only with 2 arguments. So we are not passing that. So the output will be 1, 2.20 because default value Z of 0 is assigned here. So this is called constructor property promotion. If someone of you are using JavaScript, that is there, and now it is also in PHP. Another is static type return. I'm just going a bit into history so that we can understand it better. So everyone knows about late static binding. Let's check an example that was introduced in PHP 5.2. So we defined a okay. First, we can return self or static. You must have seen self or static. So we have defined 2 functions: get self, get static, which are returning nothing but self and static. Ideally, both return the object of same class, equivalent to this. But now, what we do, we call and we define one another class which is extending late static binding class, and we call both of these methods on both of the objects. So our output will be, so first we are calling it through subclass. In case of self will always return the class where it is defined, but static, as we are saying late static binding, it will wait till the time of calling. So it will obviously it will return the instance of class from where it is called. So that's why second statement will return subclass, not the major class. So that is late static binding. Now, what PHP 8 did, if we see in the previous example, we cannot define the return type here. What PHP 8 did, now we can define static as a return type. Earlier, we could, in PHP 7, we can define only self as the return type, not static. Now, in PHP 8, we can define static as a return type. Now, there is one interesting thing, match expression. So let's see one example here, a switch statement. So a switch statement, I am passing a number here, and in case 1 or 2, we return number 1 or 2. In case 3 and 4, we not return, we print number 3 or 4. Now the same example with the match, which is new feature in PHP, can be done like that. 1, 2, it will return number 1 and 2. 3, 4, it will return number 3 and 4. Like case, we also have default case here. But one important difference, switch is a statement, match is an expression. What is the difference? A statement can execute some statement, but expression might return something. So one important difference, we have to put echo in the cases while switch. While with match, we can print one single echo before the match. So that will be one change with match. Now mixed type. So there are quite a few times many people are using a type hinting, but there are cases when my function might return more than one things. So we skip that. So PHP 8 solved it. They introduced a new type, mixed, and mixed is nothing. Mixed can represent any one of them. So why it is important? So that if we don't have that return type, there could be multiple reasons. Whether the developer forget about specifying that. Uh, but if we use mixed, so it will specifically tell developer did not forget it. It is intentional and it will returning more than one time. Now it's a debatable whether it's a good practice or not, but let's not debate on that. It's a tool. It depends on you if you want to use it or not. Then PHP 8 convert through into expression. Convert through as an expression. So we just discussed that. What is the difference between a statement and expression? So a statement is a line of code which does something. For example, for, if, they're doing something. And expression is something which evaluates something and return it. For example, 1 plus 2, a equal to b, it will return true. So in PHP 7, throw was a statement. In PHP 8, it's an expression. So now there are multiple new places where we can use expression. We can use exceptions. Earlier in PHP 7, all of those examples will throw an error because we cannot use exceptions directly in a single line functions or null collision operator, ternary operator. We could not use because all those were expecting expressions. Now throw is an expression, so we can use throw in those situations. So that is one change, major change. Now we have a new stringable interface. So let's see that class. We have a class with two string method. So we simply has a method toString which is returning a string. Now we defined a method that is stringable. Here we are saying we will either pass a string or stringable interface. So we tried with two examples. First, we send the object of a class with toString and then a normal string. In the sorry for the typo, it should be normal. In second example, it will simply print normal string. But in first example, it will print test string, whatever we defined there. Now, a question might be, if stringable is the interface, we have not implemented that interface. So PHP do it internally. If a class has underscore toString method, PHP internally will implement a stringable method. So we need not to explicitly implement that method. That will be done internally. Now in traits, we could have abstract methods and PHP was not validating that method earlier. So this is the example. We have defined a trait, say T, and define an abstract method there. Which method name is test, which is expecting an integer. Now we define a class, use our trait, and define the method. But here, instead of integer, we define a string. So this program was completely fine in PHP 7, but now PHP 8, it will throw an error. So that's what validate abstract trait methods is. There are quite a few new functions as well. So first is string contains. So in a string, it will check by the particular string is available in a string. It could be anything, A, B, or C. Earlier, we were doing something like substring or that, something like that. So now there's a direct method available. So first example will return true, second example will return false. Now we can also check the empty string. So empty string is always valid. So in this case, I have a string and I am passing empty string. So it will always return true. Same in the second condition. So every string contains an empty string. There are two other methods, string start with and string end with. Sorry for typo again. This is str ends with. So there are a few examples. String start with, we defined a string, beginning, middle, and string is starting with back. It will be true. Second one, capital B. So it is case sensitive. So second will return false, or it will print not printed. Well, it will not print anything actually. Ends with capital E, it will print printed. With a small e, this statement will not be printed because it is an if. Again, so with empty string, it will work everywhere, except in this case, A is not contained in empty string. So these are two new methods about string start and string end. There is a get debug type. So in PHP 7, I have a variable. It could be either a class or a boolean. Now, if I want to get the value, class name or type, so we have to put it into ternary operator or if else. So if it is a, we are checking, is it an object? If it is an object, return the class. And if it is not an object, return the type. Now PHP 8 has introduced get debug type. So what it will actually replace that. If it is a class, it will return the name of class. Otherwise, it will return the variable type. Now there are quite a few syntax changes. For example, earlier class colon class, it can be called only on the class name. Now we can even do it in instance name. In PHP 7, if we want to do that, we need to call get class method, get class function. And in PHP 8, we can simply do colon class on the objects. One important thing, non-capturing caches. So this is a simple example. I have written a function. I've written a try catch block. So if it throws some exception, we need to catch that. Now look at that variable. We are not using it in the catch block, but still we had to define it. So PHP 8 gives us the permission. If you don't have, you need not to use that exception, don't define the variable. So minor change. Now in PHP 7, we are allowed to have a comma after the last element of array, but not in the parameters. Now in PHP 8, we can define the comma at the end after the last parameter as well. So these are some of the major changes. Now PHP 8 also come up with some good documentation. I told that. Oh, this one. So earlier that was not there. So that was published yesterday only. So these are the few things which you can check: named arguments, attributes, custom property promotion, union types, match expression, null safe operator. So you can go to that link and check in further details. So that's all. I guess I'm done. Anyone? Anything else? Oh, we have PHP Storm license.
Thank you. Thank you, Kapil, for the wonderful session. Shall we take questions now, Kapil?
So there are few questions. How much type we can pass? So what was regarding the parameter types or so in the union types, I guess. So there is no limit. You can pass more than two type of parameters in union type. No other questions? Sorry, the session was quite very quick because there are quite a few things to be discussed, and I have taken the limit of maybe 30-35 minutes so that we have time for the questions and quiz. So I'm reading the chat now. If anyone have any questions, please ask.
Kapil, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Kapil.
So
Let's wait for a couple of minutes. Let's see if anyone has any questions. Let's give them a minute, please.
Right. So there is a question. Impact PHP performance. So yes, PHP 8 also comes with JIT just in time. So maybe we might see that here. Why I did not include it here in the presentation because I did not have any benchmarks to share. So with just in time, performance of PHP 8 will further improve. Yes, Nishant. Yes, PHP 8 also introduced JIT, but I just did not include it here because I did not have any benchmark for that.
Any more questions? Now is the time to ask, please. So, Kapil, I think it's now time for contest giveaways.
Yes, maybe everyone are interested in the license.
Okay, so let's start that now. There's a question
Sure.
for you, Kapil.
Okay.
I have
Where
highlighted it
can
on
we
the
find
screen.
documentations? So let me share the link. So it was released yesterday, but my source was RFCs. So if you go into the book for every thing, I have also uh, given the link of RFC. So RFC is the process in PHP where while development, the newer version, they define which new functionality they want to develop. So if we read the RFCs, we'll come to know the coming feature in the next versions. Any other question?
No, I think we are good. Let's start with the contest now.
Okay. So first, maybe some rules. So my screen is visible to everyone, I guess. So question will come here. Now, I don't want to disturb anyone. So I will not read out the question so that it is even playing field for everyone. So read the question quickly and comment on YouTube comments. Comment your answer in the YouTube comments. There will be 5 questions. Okay. If you answer wrong, you are out of the race. So maybe if someone answer third question wrong, then I will request not to attempt fourth and fifth question. So that is the rule. Then after 5 questions, in case we have only 2 right answers in middle question, like question 2, question 3, we'll stop the quiz there. But after question 5, if we have more than 2 winners, then we'll decide checking who answers first. And not only 5th question, all the questions. So who has taken less time to answer, that person will be the winner. So are we good ahead to go? There's one more question. What is the use of OOPS? OOPS is object-oriented programming. Um, so use of object-oriented programming. That maybe I will recommend to first learn a bit about object-oriented. So it's not only in PHP; it's in any object-oriented language. So are we ready? The next slide has the question. No one
Please
seems
give
to
a thumbs up on the chat if everyone is ready for the questions.
Yeah, Alankar is ready. So only one person is ready. We need not the contest. Only two. We can give the license to Alankar and Pratibha. And now there is one more.
No, people are coming in. Let's give them some time. Who
Okay.
doesn't want PHP Storm license? Everyone wants it. Even I want one license.
So you have to wait till January at least. Right now I have just two license.
Okay.
Okay.
We have enough
So
people now.
we are starting. The next slide will have the question. I will keep quiet. Just read the question and answer as fast as you can. So we are starting. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, Kapil, I think we have enough
Yes.
answers. Let's see who answered correct first for question number 1. Can you please tell us what was the correct answer for question number 1, Kapil?
So answer is basically C. A null policing operator was introduced in PHP 7. PHP 8 introduced null safe operator.
Okay, I think Faizan Sheikh answered first correctly for question number 1. And the second person to answer correctly was Vikram Iklare.
Yes, we'll check the timings later. So
No, actually, Kapil, there will be so many comments, we won't be able to check
right.
going back.
So we'll
So
check the timings only after. So those who answered C should only attempt the next question.
yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next question now.
Okay.
Kapil?
I will put time up after maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So this time most people answers correctly. So get type is there since PHP 5. PHP 8 introduced get debug type.
Okay, let me note down quickly who answered first.
So I guess
I
most of
think,
the people answers correctly.
Again, I think it was one of the first correct answers was by Faizan, I think.
Awesome.
Once again.
Whatever. So if there are more than 2 winners, Faizan now has a good chance.
And Q Cyber.
Should we move to question 3?
Uh, yes. Now everyone must be Googling.
I answered that.
Okay, I think we have enough answers for question 3, Kapil.
Yes.
And
So
26 November
I
is the
said
correct answer.
it was released yesterday. So you just need to put it into the date. So answer is 26/11. So moving to next question.
Just a moment.
Yes.
Okay, question for now. Okay, Kapil.
Yes, time up. Um, so yes, it's a valid code. So PHP 8 allow you not to write that variable, but if you write that, your code will not fail. So we need not to write $e, but again, you can write it. Code is still valid.
Uh, Kapil, before we move on to last question, I think till now Faizan is the front runner and closely followed by Vikram, I guess. Let's see what
So
happens with the
those
last
who
question.
answered wrong on first, second, third question, are they also attempting? So if we
I
decide someone,
can't make it out.
yeah.
Everyone's answering. Let's see.
So if we decide a winner, we need to check whether all five questions were
We
answered
will
correctly.
check. Yeah. Let's proceed with the next question.
Okay. So the last question. 3, 2, 1, go. This I knowingly put hard one so that
Right, without any typos, right, Kapil? Without any
yes,
typos in the command.
command can't have typos. It will not run. No answer. Your PHP Storm license saved.
They all must be scrolling back to the beginning of the episode on YouTube.
So for this question, we should give a little more time.
Yeah. Vikram has put up his command.
Sorry, Vikram, this is not a right command. No one is to find that?
Come on, people. PHP Storm license. Who doesn't want it? One of the best editors for writing PHP code.
Should I help a bit?
Um, just give it, let's say, 10 more seconds, and then we'll stop.
Faizan, not exactly. There's just one mistake.
Okay, Kapil, in the meantime, you want to select the 2 minutes, just scroll up and
I'm
see.
switching the slide for 2 minutes. For 10 seconds.
Okay. Shall I keep the slide in stream or remove it from the stream?
Yes, I remove.
Okay.
So my screen is not shared.
Your screen is there in the stream.
So everyone see that?
Yeah. Okay, I think that's it, Kapil. Nearly everyone has answered now.
So I guess fifth question is wrong. So can we check based on first 4 questions? So hopefully people are paying some attention. Okay. Can we quickly check? We should
Sure.
be getting that. Or maybe we should start with question 4.
Everyone, please give Kapil a few minutes to see who has answered correctly for the most number of questions and quickest. Thank you.
So Abbas, are you checking?
No, Kapil, I checked, and it seems. Let's check on private.
So question 4, number 1 is Faizan, number 2 Rameshwar, number 3 Rohit, number 4 Neeraj, number 5 Yash, Pratibha, Harpreet. So it's very easy offline. So there are 12 people who answers correctly. Fourth question.
Kapil, please see who answered most questions correctly.
Right. I'm doing that only. Question 3, correct answer Vikram, Harpreet, Rohit, Prashant Mankar, Pratibha, Yazan, that's a question. Ashwini, Shubhangi, yeah. Based on question 3 and 4, we have 8 people. Question number 2, Ivan, Vikram, Neeraj, yeah, Arpit, Prashant Mankar, Yash. Based on question number 2, 3, 4, there are only 4 candidates: Faizan, Yash, Arpit, Vikram. Is there anyone who I miss? Based on question number 2, 3, 4.
So these are the people, 4 people who answered all these
Faizan,
4
Yash,
questions
Arpit,
correctly,
Vikram.
right?
I'm taking question 1 as well.
Yeah.
I'm just asking if I miss anyone who had answered question 2, 3, 4 correctly.
No, I think you're correct.
Question 1. Faizan, Arpit, Vikram. So based on first 4 questions, there are 3 winners: Faizan, Arpit, and Vikram. Is there
Okay.
anyone who answered correctly 1, 2, 3, 4 and I missed them? I find Faizan, Arpit, and Vikram.
So is there anyone who thinks they have answered all 5 questions correctly and Kapil missed them? If yes, please type your name. Neeraj,
I'm
will
explaining
you
question 5 for now.
answer all 5 questions
1 to 4.
correctly? One, 1 to 4.
Q Cyber. I missed it. So question number 4. No, Q Cyber question number 4 is wrong. You answered no. The answer is yes.
Kapil, I think from the 4 people you can choose any two, or maybe do
Yeah, there is only 3. Faizan, Arpit, and Vikram.
Okay, then do a lucky draw then maybe.
Um, maybe no need. I'll get one more license in December, so maybe let's award all three. Just one
Okay,
person have to wait till December 15th.
December. Okay.
Makes
Okay.
sense?
So yeah, that's fine, Kapil. Thanks a lot. So can you please repeat the names? Kapil, Fazan,
Faizan, Arpit, Vikram.
Vikram, and the third person is?
Faizan, Arpit, and Vikram.
Okay. So Fazan, Arpit, and Vikram, you three are the winners. Can you please get in touch with Kapil on Twitter? I am posting Kapil's Twitter handle. You can put a DM to Kapil and give your contact details so that he can send you the PHP Storm licenses. One of you will be getting the license in December, not this month. I hope that is fine with you.
So there is a question. What's about question 5? So since no one answered that, so we are disregarding that.
Okay. I guess that is all for now. Thank you, everyone. First of all, thank you, Kapil. Thank you for giving us the valuable information on PHP 8. I think everyone enjoyed the session. We got to learn something new today. Thanks a lot for that. And thanks everyone who joined today's meetup. And I would like to apologize for wasting your 2 or 3 minutes in the beginning. I spoke for almost 3 minutes while on muted and almost made a fool of myself.
Oh, that's fine. That happens
Anyways,
sometimes.
yeah. Anyways, I hope everyone who joined today will also be joining us next month. We are always on the lookout for new speakers. So if anyone is interested in speaking at the meetup, then please look at the information that is sticking out at the bottom of the stream now. You can submit your CFPs at this URL. It is bit.ly/laravel-ngp-cfp. So anyone who is interested in speaking in our next month or maybe in January, February, whenever you want to speak, just fill in the form and we'll get in touch with you. Okay. Have a good evening. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you. Bye bye. Cheers.
Bye. Good night, everyone.